The show starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Coin Launch Lounge. If it's your first time coming in, thanks for stopping by. If you've been here before, thanks for coming back. Today we've got BRIKN in the house, and TP, the co-founder of BRIKN, is in here to do the initial introduction. TP, if you could do me a favor and introduce yourself to the community a little bit about yourself and your accolades, and then introduce whoever you want to from the team after that.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. So as Brian said, I'm co-founder at BRIKN and head of DAO. So I sort of advise on the DAO ecosystem, the blockchain side of things, the yield farming, the tokenomics, the NFTs, how you can utilize the blockchain within the DAO, and how you can merge blockchain with the real estate industry. I've been involved in the blockchain industry since about 2015. I started off as an investor and really fell in love with the industry. So I started helping out on projects any way that I sort of could. Come from a project management background, so I'd help with the management side of things on the projects and help with the community development and marketing, the fundraising. I went full-time into blockchain back in 2017, where I'd act as a freelance marketing agent and also help projects fundraising and also anything they may need, really. So over the years, I've built up a network and also a skill set within the blockchain, and really understood the blueprint of what makes a project successful, if you like, which I can then take from project to project. Back in 2020, I actually started up my own consultancy firm called Block Consultancy. We acted as a one-stop shop for projects. So a project would come to us with an idea, and we'll help them go from idea phase through to launch to become a more established project. We'd basically be able to offer them any services they may need to become successful in the industry, be it node solutions, developer solutions, exchange listings, smart contracts, launch pads, anything that a project may need to become successful in the industry, we could offer that to them. I sort of met Mark about a year and a half ago through Michael, who you might meet shortly, and also Liam as well, who's other partners on this project. And they sort of came to me and was like, "This is what we want to do." They basically gave me the idea of BRIKN and was like, "We want to take a real estate investment trust and break it down and solve the issues which you're traditionally faced with within a REIT, which is accessibility, governance, and also transparency as well." So obviously it's not very accessible to traditional REIT because of the high entry point. You need large amounts of capital to be able to invest in real estate and real estate investment trusts and really gain a profit from it. The transparency, because obviously you never really know what's being purchased, where your money's going, what your investment's being used on. But obviously the blockchain breaks that down, and you can see every transaction on the blockchain. And then governance as well. Within a traditional REIT, you don't know who's looking after your funds. You don't know who's looking after the portfolio. It's usually someone at a desk behind a screen, whereas with the DAO ecosystem, we're giving governance and power back to the investor. If you're a token holder, an NFT holder, you have full control over your investment, full control over the portfolio, full control over the company itself and the direction that it's moving.
Okay, makes absolute sense. Thank you for the introduction. Is there anyone else from the team that we should be introduced to and know that they exist?
Yeah, we got Mark, the founder, here as well. Mark Goodman.
Yeah, I mean, how long have you got? Well, for those who don't know me, but thank you for tonight, Brian. For those who don't know me, my name is Mark, and I'm the founder of BRIKN. But my background started late teenage years, and went to work for a small building firm, and ever since there, developed through there. We worked on, which was handy because it educated me in a lot of aspects of all the building industry, from fitting windows to hanging doors to chimneys to brickwork to plumbing work to joinery. So I moved on with a small company, running that company after 3 years, and then running this projects for and actually retired. I ended up taking over that company and started to run that. I then developed my own company for the last 20 years. We've been up and down. We've obviously seen recessions. We've seen bad times. We've seen good times. We've had to change, develop. We worked on projects such as Capital of Culture Liverpool 1, with big companies, international companies like Liverpool. We worked with BRIKN, we worked with Norwest House, we partnered with a man called Len Horton. We did a lot of work with him on Liverpool 1. The team and myself personally built everything from cinemas, pubs, clubs, houses. After the recession, which hit hard in the game, we had to utilise, went into blast walls, and we become a specialist firm. And we decided to specialise in blast walls, and we went on to build power stations, substations, petrol stations. Basically, as you walk past the forecourt, everything underneath the technical garage is what I've dropped down and built. So we've worked at some very high specifications, we've worked with a lot of national buildings. Currently, in England, we've had 3 prime ministers, I think, certainly within the last year. There's always a shortage. So right now we're in negotiations with England to work with those.
It's a little bit difficult to hear you. Just letting you know.
So sorry, I think it might be my reception. So sorry.
That's good right there. Whatever you just did, got a little closer to the mic or something. That's much better for people. No worries, just continue.
So at the minute we're working with local authorities, building homes for England to incorporate the lower end of people trying to get onto the property ladder. But with this, as I say, we work through extreme specifications, and for the last 5 years, we've done nothing but renovation and new builds. So this is exactly why we were looking to take BRIKN forward.
Amazing. All right, TP, is there anything that you want to add to that, or anybody from the team that isn't here that you want to introduce on their behalf or represent?
Sure. So if you scroll up to the top, I can talk you through the team to a certain extent. So in the advisors, we've got the team at Decubate. Decubate basically provide blockchain solutions. They provide smart contracts. They got staking platforms, basically anything that a project may need in terms of blockchain technology. They can provide that. We've got both Elliot and Jay just below, who is the CEO and CTO respectively of Decubate, on our team as advisors, and they're currently building out our DAO platform. So within our DAO platform, we've got the Vault. The Vault is the hub of the BRIKN DAO. Here is where your tokens will be vested. This is where you stake your tokens, and this is where the rewards are released from. You'll also be able to stake your NFTs in there. So the whole time that your tokens are vested within the Vault, 100% of the tokens are also staked. I haven't seen this done before. So basically, all of the vested tokens you'll be generating yield on from the very beginning of the project. We've also got Madeline Dimitru, who is our cybersecurity advisor. He's the head and CEO of Cyber Smart Defense, who are well renowned within the cyber defense industry. They've actually built the biggest tower to defend. He basically provides the EU with cyber defense technology.
Okay, awesome. And then coming down here to this is the actual team, right? This is the actual people on the team here.
Yeah. So Luke and Sam, they own their own digital marketing firm, and they've also got a rent-to-rent property portfolio already. They're going to be taking care of our rent-to-rent model. So basically, it'll be you rent a property and then you furnish it, and then you rent it out on Airbnb or something like that. And the returns on that can be massive. If you're booked out for the whole year, you can be looking at 600% returns for the year. So we've got those two covering our digital marketing campaigns and also the rent-to-rent system. Tom Boswell is our head of design. He's done works for Rolls-Royce, among other quite prestige brands. We've got Emily Rodriguez, who is she's quite well known in the blockchain industry. She's an advocate for women in the blockchain industry. She does a lot of appearances at shows and at conventions. She does a lot of interviews of well-known people in the blockchain industry, and she's going to be representing BRIKN at all of her future appearances.
All right. And then you guys have a lot of different logos and a lot of different companies down here, from Pink Sale to Gempad to looks like maybe some type of consulting firms and auditors and all sorts down here. So Coin Payments. What are we looking at? Who's an actual official partner? Whose logo is just kind of up here? How do all these people play a key role in the success of your project?
Sure. So these are all of our partnerships. We've got obviously my own company, Block Consultancy, so we'll be able to utilize my firm when it comes to the consultancy side of things, so the marketing, the community development, the fundraising, etc. Cyber Smart Defense, which is Madeline's company. So we're going to make sure that all of our platforms and all of our investors are completely safe while using our dApps and our website. Then there's the property sourcing company below Block Consultancy. That's a partnership that we've got with the property sourcers. So basically, they provide us with all of the potential properties which they have for sale, and a lot of the time these properties are below market price. So we're getting offered properties, for it, be it a landlord wants to make a quick sell because they need money, or people can't afford to pay their mortgage anymore, so they need to sell the house to have money. But we offer them the opportunity to purchase them properties, offer them, and then allow them to stay in the house by renting it back out to them. Because obviously, with, like Mark touched on it a little bit earlier, the current economic situation, not just in the UK but globally as well, I feel like there is a downturn coming. Obviously, I know that JP Morgan came out and said that they're no longer predicting a recession, but I feel like that's just to stop people from panicking. I feel like there is something coming, and we're just at the tip of it now. You can see interest rates going up and prices of stuff coming down. Obviously, if interest rates are going up on property in the UK, mortgage rates are going to get higher and higher, and people aren't going to be able to afford them anymore. So unfortunately, people are going to have to sell their houses back to either property sources or back to the bank. And this means there's going to be a flood of property on the market, and we're going to be in a position to be able to purchase this property, and not just for our own personal gain, but also to help out these people that are in distress, really, and so they don't have to give it up to another buyer. They can potentially stay in their houses and be able to rent them instead of purchase them.
Okay, and that makes sense. And this is a really popular model, right? Like REIT and this type of, and rent to rent, like you said, is highly lucrative if done properly. So just to back up, what's the exact problem that you guys are solving by bringing BRIKN to the market, just for full transparency and just so I understand completely?
Sure. So the three pillars that we're sort of building it on is governance, accessibility, and transparency. So the governance, it's obviously when you're investing in real estate, trusts traditionally, you don't have governance over your investment. You just sort of give them your money and they do with it as they please. But with the DAO ecosystem, through the token and the NFTs, you have full governance over your investment and over the company and the property portfolio itself. Accessibility, obviously you need a lot of capital to be able to invest in REITs or real estate traditionally. But we're offering you the opportunity to purchase in our private sale for as little as $150 on our ICO platform, or as little as 0.1 BNB over on our decentralized launchpads that we're currently listed on, which is unheard of really in the real estate industry, to be able to have exposure to real estate, and especially the UK property market for as little as that. That's fantastic. And also transparency as well. Obviously, traditionally, you don't know what's being bought, where your money's going. You just sort of have it sitting in there in a pool and then watch it do its thing. But now with the blockchain, you can obviously see every transaction on the blockchain and utilize that for full transparency.
Okay. And so I'm going to pull up the white paper here. But as far as like taking this to market, I mean, what is the first action steps that you guys are going to take as a company in order to, deploy your business model? How are you guys going to get to market and, start to work with properties and start to kind of get that side of the business moving and shaking? What's the plan there?
Sure. So we want to, before we launch, we want to have proof of concept there. So we've already built. We've got all our tech done. We've got the token smart contracts made and audited. We're building our DAO platform currently. We're now looking to purchase our first load of property. So we've already got the packages available to us through our property sources. We know which ones we're going to purchase. Now it's just releasing the capital to actually acquire these properties, just so that we can show the community and show the investors what we can do, the profits we can generate, and really start getting the ball rolling, so that when we launch come mid-May, we'll already have this backlog of profits to distribute out to the DAO. So 60% of the profits made on the property portfolio are given back to the token holders that have staked their tokens within the vault. We're also, as well as the property portfolio, BRIKN are having an ecosystem of other companies as well. So we've obviously got Brick by Brick, which is the development company, and that Mark is the head of. They're going to be doing all the renovation. That's to keep costs down and maximize profits. And we're also having a property management company. So the property management company will manage all of our properties for a small fee. We're going to be doing it for 10% of the rental fee. But we're not only just going to be managing our own properties, we're also going to be reaching out to private landlords and managing private landlords' properties as well. And then the property management company, all 50% of profits made from that will be distributed out to NFT holders. So we're going to have two lots of different types of NFTs. We're going to have, the first one is a gold mine NFT. The gold mine NFT is our gold standard. So basically, if you own a gold mine NFT, you get full governance over the entire portfolio. So basically, you can create proposals for every property we ever own throughout the whole lifespan of the project. And then we're going to do another release of individual NFTs for each individual property. So for example, you might fall in love with a development, you might really like one of the houses or one of the block of flats we're working on. And for that reason, you might want governance over said property. So then you buy the individual NFT for that individual property, which then gives you governance over that one property, and you can create proposals for that one property. If you stake these NFTs, you then get, if you stake the goldmine NFT, you get 50% of the profits from the entire property management company. If you stake the individual NFTs, you get 50% of the profits from that one property.
Okay, that makes sense. And so for these goldmine NFTs, I'm going to paste an outline here. But so these are NFTs that you have to invest a minimum of $1,000 in the seed or private sale of a property portfolio. I just summarized it with chat, so if that's not right, just let me know. But of a specific property or portfolio, or is it just $1,000 in general in the private sale or seed sale?
So we're doing a promotion at the moment where the first 250 people to invest $1,000 or more will receive one. I think we've probably got just over 100 left. But we are going to do a larger launch once we go live, and these will retail at about $2,000. So obviously, if you're getting one for free for $1,000 investment, you've already doubled your original investment anyway. Once we go to retail price and we launch them officially, so there's going to be 250 put out in this in the promotion, and then we're going to do another 1,750 release when we go to market. So there's going to be 2,000 in total.
Okay, and so seed sale has been concluded, correct?
Seed sale is ongoing, but we have closed it on the website because for people to enter the seed sale, we want to have a conversation with them. We want to ensure they're a sophisticated investor or a strategic partner. We don't want people just to come onto our website and just get the seed sale and lump into it. We want to have a chat with you. We want to make sure your mind's in the right place, your head's in the right place, that you're actually here for the growth of the project, and not just here for to dump the tokens once they unlock and decrease the price, if you like.
So the minimum investment on that seed sale is $50K, right? That's $50K. And so of that, have you guys had any seed sale contributors?
Yeah, I'd say we've raised about 200,000 within the seed sale, and then just over 100,000 in the private.
Okay, so just over 100K in the private. And what is the goal for the private?
So I think the private sale total is about 1.2 mil.
Okay, so about 1.2 mil.
Yeah, give or take. So we have currently raised just about 330,000. Our soft cap on the entire ICO is 750,000. Our hard cap's about 5.95 million over the entire OCO rounds. Our ideal goal, I'd say, is to get above 2.5 million. If we get to 2.5 million, with the growth that we can achieve, will help us easily hit our target of $50 million portfolio within 5 years.
Okay, well, let's talk about that exact process there. So let's consider best case scenario. All right, let's run those numbers. So best case scenario, you guys raise the hard cap on the whole thing is, you said, 5.9 million.
Yeah.
And what is the allocation there? So what goes into liquidity? What gets invested? How does all of that work?
So we already have a token allocation for liquidity, and we've already got an agreed listing. So we've got about 15% of our tokens go to the liquidity pool. We're selling about 25% of the overall supply. I can get you the exact figures. Give me a second.
And so a certain portion of this money raised, does that go into investing in properties, or is that?
Absolutely, yeah. So about 90% of the money raised will go straight into properties.
Okay, and so the intention there is that you guys can buy properties while the market is kind of getting hammered a little bit. You guys can use this opportunity to buy properties towards what could be the bottom of the market, and then the intention would be that you would be able to rent those properties, or Airbnb or whatever, VRBO, and just on a short-term rental and do crazy numbers. It would be best case scenario, do crazy numbers on these properties, which I've got a friend that does short-term rentals. And I know you said 600% earlier. He's got properties he does 200%. He's got properties he does like almost 1,000% on. So the numbers are real. But that's the intention, right? You guys go out, you acquire these properties, and then you create revenue by doing short-term leases, short-term rentals.
Absolutely. Obviously, the final sale of the property is going to be put down to DAO, but we're going to present you with all the figures, all the numbers, all the potential returns on the investment to help you make an informed decision. But one of the best strategies which we're going to implement is buy, refurbish, refinance. So basically, using the funds raised, we'll go and purchase a property at 20% below the market value through our property sources. We're then going to renovate said property to then add value to the property as well. And then we're going to refinance it and pull 75% of the property value out of it, which will hopefully be worth about 100% of the purchasing property, let's say. So let's say we have $5 million of that. We buy $5 million worth of property, add value to it, and then pull out 75%, and then we've got $5 million to then go purchase more property, and then we'll just rinse and repeat. So we'll just go buy more property, do this at below market price, renovate, refinance, and every 6 months we'll be able to refinance the properties, and then the rentals of the properties will be paying off the finance which we pulled out, and then by the end of it we'll have a pool of assets held by BRIKN, held by the DAO, that we could sell to market if the price is right, or we could continue to rent out. The possibilities are endless, really.
Okay. I just want to remind everybody that. Oh yeah.
Sorry to put in. I've just got a quick question. I love the concept of this. My only concern is when you raise this money and you buy these properties, who is the owner of these assets, and how is that managed?
Sure. So BRIKN will be the owner of the assets. We've partnered up with a law firm called Forsters, who are a well-renowned law firm in the UK. They are currently structuring our DAO as it'll either be a Jersey Purpose Trust or a Cayman Trust, because they're the best entities for the DAO structuring. Obviously, in a lot of countries, DAOs aren't recognised as legal entities. So for us to be able to hold the properties and give the investors the governance over the properties, that is how we're going to do it. So the BRIKN itself will hold the assets, which in sense will belong to the DAO.
Okay. So in terms of regulation in the UK, this can't be done. So is this why you're moving it offshore?
Yeah, that's it. Because obviously, as you may know, DAOs aren't recognised as actual business entities within the UK. Brick by Brick, the development company, is a UK registered company. Sorry, I'm just plugging in my charger. Brick by Brick is an English registered company. But yeah, like I say, BRIKN is currently going through that. We've engaged our lawyers, two very well-renowned DAO structuring lawyers called Rory Carter and James Brockhurst. James Brockhurst has actually written a book on DAO structuring, so we're in good hands.
That's good. I mean, that's I think is going to be the big concern for people that are dropping money into this. Is, we have seen structures like this, not in bricks and mortar before, but we've seen it with other assets tied to it, where the investors' money is just used to buy these assets, and then it's closed down, and those assets are then owned by whoever has set up and purchased them in a dirty way. So, coming into DeFi, being that we are degenerates, these are the first things that we focus on: is, are you guys going to rip us off? And what safety nets have we got? If I drop 50k after going through getting you guys on the phone and passing, your vetting process, what have you got for me to guarantee that my 50k is going to be safe within you guys? That's my sort of concern.
Of course, and I feel like that's why you see a lot of issues with other real estate projects on the blockchain, because what they're trying to do is they're trying to tokenize properties, they're trying to fractionalize property, like individual properties, and then they hit legality problems with like ownership, like who actually owns the property, because you've just tokenized it between hundreds of people. So that, like you said, there's no actual ownership to the assets. So that's why we've taken this different route. We looked at the other projects and we were saying this isn't a sustainable way to run a real estate project on the blockchain. It may help in some way, but I feel like it's for personal gain of whoever owns the asset and then has tokenized it. Like there's no actual physical ownership there. So this is why we're holding all the assets in a trust fund structure, in a Cayman trust or a Jersey purpose trust, and then obviously creating the token, the DAO token, which gives you governance, which gives you yield farming from the held assets. And realistically, these assets, all they're going to do is accumulate and generate more revenue to then distribute out amongst the holders.
Okay. And in terms of you guys, I mean, you've all got your different skill sets that you're bringing to the table. How are you financially benefiting from this? What sort of money have you got in terms of who's invested from the actual core team into this, and how are you guys going to make your money from this?
So obviously we've all put some money in, like a startup fund. As anyone here that runs a company or has started a crypto project, it's not cheap to get off the ground and get things going. So we've all sort of chipped in and put money in where we need to. And obviously when we're going to launch and we're actually at full operation, 60% of the profits is getting distributed out to DAO, and then 40% of the profits is going back into the development of the property portfolio. Within that, there is going to be a salary for the team. Obviously, but it's going to be minimal cost. That's why we're keeping it all in-house. That's why we've got our own development company. We're not outsourcing it. We're paying our own guys to go in and do the work, and so all we have to do is pay for the labor, if you like. We don't have to outsource a third company and pay for the markups. It's all done in-house. It's all our own employees. It's all our own team, and that's done from the 40%, which is kept within the BRIKN ecosystem rather than distributed out to the token holders.
Yeah, I mean, I see this is a great opportunity to be moving on this project, but the double-edged sword you've got is people are very, very bearish in this market right now to be dropping money into these projects. I mean, you've done well to raise the money that you've got so far. What are your plans to continue to raise that hard cap or that ideal figure that you need what happens if you don't achieve it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as we all know, we are a full swing into the bear market at the moment. And everyone can sort of speculate when we're going to come out of that. But my personal opinion, I reckon May time, when we're planning to launch, is the perfect opportunity. And to invest in an early stage project now, and then launch into the beginning of a bull run, is really the perfect opportunity, because your project will increase with the market cap of the entire industry. So while everything else is moving up, you should catch that wave and ride up with it. Obviously, it's speculation, and we can support, but in my personal opinion, providing that the whole economy doesn't crash, I feel like end of Q1, Q2, we will start to see the beginning of the bull market. You're starting to see signs of it now. Like Bitcoin's just had the second longest run of green days in its history. So I think it's 15 days is the longest. 15 consecutive days is the longest green run for Bitcoin. We've just had 14 days. So if that's not a bull flag, then I don't really know what is. Obviously, I think we come down from here, but I think in a few months we will start to see, we would have found the bottom, and we'll start to see the uptick again. So to be able to get in that seed round or private round in a project which is offering yield from real world assets, I think it's a perfect opportunity, really. In terms of the hard cap and meeting that, we, after our private sale, we do have two centralized launch pads we have agreed with and have lined up. One's Priz, which is a UK-based launch pad, and then one is Everstar. If you've heard of Everscale, it's an up-and-coming blockchain up-and-coming blockchain network. They're quite big, and I'm quite fond of them. We have partnered up with them, and we're utilising their ecosystem. So we will be listing on their launchpad as well, called Everstart. We'll also be utilising their decentralised exchange when we launch, called Flatcube, and we'll also be utilising their bridge onto their network. So we won't actually be built on their network; we're built on Polygon, but we will be bridging over to their network to utilise their ecosystem. We've also been accepted to list on Gate.io. We're also they called me this week and confirmed that we have been accepted for listing. I want to get an IEO for the public sale. They're still in review about the IEO. I'm also in talk with Huobi and OKX. If they offer us an IEO, we'll obviously go with them. But this is another way that we can raise funds. So we've got a lot of options there. We're also in talks with DAOmaker. DAOmaker asked us to carry out two things before they'd consider listing us. That was change the tokenomics, which we've done, and the other was build the community, which we're currently doing. We're currently doing a big market push. So I think if we get listed on DAOmaker, that'll be massive for us as well.
I think if you guys can raise the funds that you need and purchase the assets, waiting for the market to turn is just inevitable in the long term. I don't think we're going to see a bull run this year personally, but that shouldn't really matter in terms of, you've raised the capital, you bought the assets, and you're in good stead. The only other concern, I'm like, guys, look, don't take any of this as like me beating on your project. I'm just very interested in it, hence why I'm asking these questions. The only other concern that I've got, in DeFi, everyone likes things that are shiny, everything, pretty and rockets, and it's going to do this and it's going to do that. My only concern is this is without offending anyone in here, this could go over people's heads a little bit and not attracting the sort of volume potentially and the sort of FOMO that it would, that you're looking for in DeFi. How are you going to appeal to that sort of investor?
Your opinion's completely appreciated, and I'm glad that you've sort of come with that outlook, because it sort of challenges us, and I like the sort of questions that you're coming with, because I want to be challenged. And obviously with our project, you do see in the crypto space a lot of people, they're like moon boys. They want to make 1,000x in a day, and I'll be playing simple. Yes, our token will increase in price, and yes, there is like a 260% uptick from 160% uptick from the private sale. But our main focus of this project is yield farming. It's generating yield from real world assets. So it's not going to be one that runs off of FOMO and hype and make 1,000x in 2 weeks. It's one that is going to generate a nice regular income for you. So and increase.
Agreed. Yeah, I completely agree with that. But you can't get to that stage without raising those funds that you need. You know, once you raise the funds, you can
that's why
launch.
we're in the ICO. That's why we're in the ICO phase currently, and we're putting things in place to raise these funds. I think, considering we've only started our marketing push in 2023, before that we were doing a very much soft launch, and we've managed to raise 300k, so over 300k. So I think that speaks volumes in terms of how early we are. We've got 4 months until we launch, so we've got 4 months to raise capital. We still haven't got our pitch deck out there. We've been in talks with some venture capital companies, but not loads. We've just getting our financials done, our pitch deck done. So then we'll start to approach more institutional investors. What was I going to say? In terms of like DeFi projects, like you were saying earlier, these DeFi projects that you traditionally see in the crypto market, they're not sustainable because they're offering a large amount of APY, and they're often done off the price of the token, or they're done from a liquidity pool. And when that price of the token drops, the total ecosystem of that yield farming just falls apart. We're actually offering yield farming from real world assets. So if the token price goes down, it doesn't affect the amount of yield you're going to be generating from the property portfolio, because the amount of yield you're generating is done off the percentage that is staked. Obviously, if the price of the token comes down, it's actually a bonus because you'll be able to purchase more while keeping the income coming in. And the whole time, every 6 months, we're going to be using this buy, refurbish, and refinance model to grow the property portfolio even further, meaning that the yield from the real world assets is only going to increase.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I appreciate the answers. You know, it's important that someone comes straight back with an answer as opposed to umming and ahhing, you know, but you give me a lot of confidence there. I'm definitely going to look into you guys a little more. I hear that Mark has got a bit of a Scouse twing, so if he's in Liverpool, he's not too far away from me.
I was really engaged in the conversation, so some really good questions there. But like Tom said, I mean, we're trying to build. I mean, I'm local. We're trying to start local to me. We're trying to all build on our strengths. And like you were saying before, we're all currently, Tom owns his own company, I own my own company. We're all currently employed. We all do our own thing. We're not in the aspect of needing to draw from any of this. This is all being launched, like Tom said before, out of our own capital, off our own backs, in our own time, because we believe in the project, and with the traction that we've had with like yourself and other people involved in the community, that we understand that it is a good project. You know, I myself, my family, my sisters, we already have our own small portfolio from houses, from being in the industry. It's not like we were saying before, it's not a passing phase. Houses, if we manage to buy below market value, I don't think it will crash. I think if we get 5%, if we get 7%, if we get 10% below market value in decent areas, which we know will pick back up anyway, because the main thing for our investors is the massive asset growth. So if we'd have launched a couple of years ago, we wouldn't be in negative equity, but we'd be having properties that maybe it was a seller's market. I wouldn't say it was such a seller's market. I mean, the average time to actually buy a house in England and save it, you know, you could be looking on 200, 250 days, maybe 300 days. And that's the average time. During COVID, it was probably a little bit quicker. People were demanding property for some strange reason. Things went the other way. But I think now it's more of a buyer's market. Interest rates have gone up, fuel prices have gone up, at pumps has gone up, food's gone up. I mean, it's ridiculous that we're squeezing everything out, and unfortunately, it will put us in a better position. We're cash buyers, we move in, we have the team in place. We will work mainly on vanilla properties. We want to work on minimums, like you were saying before, 200% rent increase without a shadow of a doubt. That's the kind of market that we're looking on. And if we do buy the property and then we refinance 75% in the next 12 months, the rental increase will, no matter what we cover, that will pay cash anyway. And as that property then snowballs into the next property, and as that yield builds up, the 60% stake back to the investor obviously grows. So without them doing anything, passive income grows. Hopefully, with that passive income and the price of the property portfolio growing, whether it be the market growing it, because obviously we're all governed by the market, whether it be the market putting the assets up in value, that in turn will stabilise the coin. That's the whole background of it. No other coin out there is stable, and we are backing it by the real world assets.
Yeah, and the time to buy these assets, Mark, is obviously right now.
Well, I mean, patience can be a virtue kind of thing, but as we're dipping in and we're going in, I mean, back in the day, I mean, there were big, I mean, it went down 50. I don't think we'll see a drop as 15%. But if we can purchase properties that we know, I mean, you know, we all know in 10 years' time, it will be more than what it is now. The bread will be, the car will be, the mobile phone will be, everything. That's how it will be. So if we can purchase these now in the long run, this is what we're trying to provide: stability to the coin, stability to the token, stability for ourselves, and stability. We've got a lot of people involved in the project who've all invested a hell of a lot of time, never to mention like personal wealth, whatever, but a lot of time. And they wouldn't have been able to do that if they were good in their field as well. So, you know, between us all and the team, hopefully, that's why I know that there's builders within the community already. I personally answered questions with them, and I've even said, you know, they've asked me questions on the back of their house. Mark, what would they do here? Or, you know, a bit stupid there. But, you know, I've answered questions, things like that. So we're extremely visible, we're transparent, we're built for investors. This is the whole idea for it. Everything is returned back to investors. That's it. We're trying to build a huge, we're building 3 companies. So at the same time, which is massive, it's unprecedented, and it's the world's first, and I don't know what's more inviting and right now, as Tom was saying before, it's at 0.03. It can't, and when we launch it's going to 0.08. So those already staked in the year, 5% are already 60% increase already going through into the next round. So the longer you hold, there's no reason to actually release, because the longer you hold, you get rewarded every month. And as we give you back time, that's our main thing, we give the investor back time. Resource properties, resource tenants, resource makers, resource whatever it may be. So we're trying to build a portfolio to retain more of that, build that 60% higher from the yield farming, give back to the investors. We can, who, like Tom said before, a low entry level. If people are thinking,
I mean, it is a great idea, Mark, because, you know, it's supporting your own businesses in the same way, you know, which is great for you guys. I mean, I definitely would like to know a little bit more information about how the structure offshore is going to be put together. And I think at that point, you know, I'd be happy to jump on a call with you guys and look at the larger seed round figure. My best friend is a banker, and he deals in property repossession. So there's a bit of a backdoor that I get offered properties before they even go anywhere near the general market. So as a contact you might want to tap into if he's willing to provide his details on that. But anyway, I'll stop rambling on and leave you guys to to push on with your AMA. Thanks for being transparent.
I didn't actually get your name. What's your name?
I can't say my name, so I keep all that separate.
That's not a problem.
We'll all meet in private afterwards. We can all chat in private.
Feel free to drop me a message, and I'll share with you the engagement letter with our lawyers, so you can look at the structuring of the DAO, and then we can sort of pick up from there if you like.
Yeah, that would be great. That's generally my only concern, because I know regulation is changing quickly, and even with these offshore locations, they're not as tight as they used to be. You know, I've personally had quite a few offshore accounts in Cyprus here and there, and Seychelles, and the doors are being closed slowly. And it's just my concern with the EU ramping up crypto regulations. It is going to come, and the pressure will come to the UK. So that's just the concern that I have at this stage for me. Anyone else out of that, you know, may have a completely different concern, but that's the only thing that I'm sort of focused on for myself.
Yeah, that's totally viable, and we have the same feeling as well. That's why we're making sure that we do all we can in our power to protect the company and our investors.
Cool. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you answering my questions. I'll pass back over to Brian before I railroad his AMA.
Thank you for the questions, mate. They're much appreciated, and
No problem.
it was great talking to you.
Good questions, Milky. Thanks for that. Appreciate it. All right, guys. Well, I think we've covered like a lot of different bases here. So I'm going to ask you your opinion of what we haven't covered yet, and what you think is important to cover, because we are going to run out of time in a few minutes here.
Mark, is there anything you want to cover, or you can think that you'd like to cover?
I'd just like to go back to the legality side. That's extremely important. Yeah, that's. I mean, without that, we won't. That protects our business, and yeah, obviously, we can't share that. We can share that, but we can't post that out there. Tell you how to understand what I would say. I'm sure if you please only contact I'm sure, and that's going back to the visual side of it. Look at the property that will get it those are like books. So we'll see do we go with this one?
Can't hear you that good, Mark.
So sorry, I think it's my phone. To be fair, the kids have it most of the time. But you know, just touching on Tom, you know, we're all here. If you do want to contact us, then we're more than welcome. Because I know an hour is not enough to actually get into the deep dark depths of what we're actually trying to get through and get involved and get off the ground.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
You don't just have to be an investor to give us a message and ask questions. You can be interested in the project in any way. We'll be more than happy to answer your questions and help you along the way. I feel like there's still a lot to be discussed. Like, we've got our DAO platform, which we're quite proud of, which is going to be a first in the DAO sector, where it's going to be a proper hub built with blockchain technology. So it'd be great to sort of talk to you about that a bit more as well. Utilizing Chainlink's technology, we're partnering up with Chainlink as well, so we're going to be co-marketing with them once we go to mainnet with the DAO platform. So that's exciting. I'm quite looking forward to getting that live.
Yeah, and you know what? I think that there's so many layers to the onion here. It's difficult for us to cover it all in an hour. So I would love to have you guys back in the future so we can cover everything, especially after you get out of this initial private sale and you guys move on. And there's some major updates and development that happens with the project. I think it would be really good. And then aside from that, any updates or features that get added or new announcements that happen, I want to extend the offer to you guys to feel free to always send that information into the community. Obviously, what you guys are building here is pretty innovative. It's got a lot of different layers to it. It's very complex. And because of that, like we believe here in this community, at least, that innovation deserves to be rewarded. And because of that, you guys have obviously come here with an innovative project. So I want to extend the offer to you to just, you know, use our community as a posting board to come and post all of your updates. Just add it to your list of where you guys habitually go to update people about the progress of, the progress of the project. Because again, I want to make sure that we do our end to help, reward people that show up to this community and have an innovative project, an innovative product that has so much work put into it, which is exactly what you guys have showed up with today. Very, very impressive stuff. Guys, we have a golden question here that we ask every project that comes through. You may know it, you may not. but it goes like this. Here in DeFi, people suffer from what we like to call shiny new object syndrome. They hop from one thing to the next. They have short attention spans, generally speaking. Now, that being said, there are thousands of projects out here trying to raise money to go live on a chart, hundreds of projects that launch every single day, and millions of contracts for the people listening to this AMA to go and stuff their crypto into. My question to you, TP, Mark, and the rest of the team is, why should people listening to this AMA take you up on the opportunity you guys have presented today above the other opportunity they have in DeFi?
Absolutely, that's a great question. Mark, do you want to take it or do you want me to?
I was just going to say.
Mark, just speak directly to the mic.
Sorry, I was just going to say what makes us different is the headline, our headline. It's the world's first. What Tom is creating and what we're bringing to the table is a world's first. So I know a lot of people are launching, a lot of people are trying to create, a lot of people are doing it for their own reasons. Where we know why we're doing it. There's only one reason involved, and that's for our investors, and that's to build a community that we're building really strong now. But yeah, that's how we want to.
Absolutely, and I also think the fact that you're getting exposure to two of the most successful asset classes and investment classes there has ever been. So you've got crypto, which is obviously the most infant, but the fastest growing asset class in the world of all time. And then you've got real estate property, which is probably the oldest asset class, but also the most secure for centuries. So we're combining the two. We're bringing in the old and reliable with the new and exciting, and combining them to maximize profits, build a community, give governance, give exposure to markets that investors wouldn't usually be able to have exposure to without high maintenance, and hopefully making it fun in the process as well with this DAO platform that we're building and things we're going to be implementing along the way. And obviously we're highly ambitious as well. We have global ambitions. We want to hit. We have targets that we want to hit in 5 years. We want to go global after 5 years. Although we're keeping ourselves to this one product type of market fit. Once we perfect our model and we achieve what we want to achieve, we will look to adapt it and grow. But I won't give away too much in that aspect just yet.
All right, guys. Appreciate that. Good answer. Now, if you want to just give a general call to action, I know that you guys have a private sale open. I think you said privately on your website, and then you also have one on Pink Sale. If you guys want to just give a call to action to that and kind of what the plan is moving forward there and what people should expect and how they can come and get involved in your community, and then we can move on from there.
Absolutely. So jump over to our Telegram, check out our socials, go into our YouTube, watch our videos. Head over to our website, make a profile so you can keep up to date. Also, when you create a profile, you'll be taken through to our ICO platform where you'll then be able to invest. We have a minimum investment of $150. You can invest using USDT on ERC20 or BSC. We're accepting USDT on TRX. We accept BUSD. We're currently accepting BNB on the decentralized platform, and also if you want to enter for below $150. So head over to Pink Sale and Gempad if you want to invest in BNB. They will be running until mid-Feb. After mid-Feb, we'll be launching on some centralized launch pads too if you want to participate in that. And like I said, if you have any questions and you are interested in the project and you want to know more, reach out to myself, reach out to Mark, reach out to one of the admins in the group. But remember, we will never DM you first, so make sure that you come over to our profiles and verify through our official channels. And if one of us messages you asking for money or anything like that, know that it is a scam. Be vigilant and be careful.
Yes, definitely be vigilant and careful of silly scammers. In the bear market, scammers get desperate and pathetic, so it's pretty easy to tell who's a scammer and who's not, just generally speaking by urgency. So that's great advice to keep people protected. Well, guys, it's been great having you in. And again, I extend the offer for you guys to come back and continue to update the community, keep people updated. I encourage everybody to go check out their website, go check out their YouTube, their Twitter, their Instagram. Go check everything out. Watch all of the videos. Go through everything. Maybe if you have a friend that's a perfect fit for this project, send it to your friends. Do your own research. And most importantly, thank you for coming out to the Coin Launch Lounge. Appreciate everybody. I will wrap up the recording. We'll hang out for a minute and just go over some stuff with the recording closed. So big shout out to BRIKN for coming in and hanging out with us and introducing the project to us. And from the Coin Launch Lounge, we wish you guys nothing but the best of success with the project. Okay?
Thank you, Brian. Thank you for having us on, and thank you for your kind words, and thank you for listening, everyone. It's been a pleasure.
Of course, I did a lot of summarizations of things on the website, so maybe you guys can find usefulness out of some of those summaries. Feel free to send them off to wherever you need to send them off. Okay?
Cool, thank you. I'll stick around post-recording as well if anyone does want to ask anything.
Okay,
yeah, thanks for coming in, guys.
You're welcome. Thanks for your questions making time.
I want to talk about crypto.